Thank you. Hello everybody, my name is Craig Bennett and I'm the founder and owner of TechViews Help, and today I'm going to get into how to make a splash image for your Android device, Android application. And this is Android tutorial number 16. Now, as far as things goes, we're leaving the old application, the simple application, and going into a practical application, something you can actually use in the real world. Show your family, show your friends, show your spouse, and say, I made this, and modify it in a way. Obviously, like if we got 5,000 of these things, it's not going to do much for you, but modify it in a way where it can be helpful. Instead of doing a medical card, maybe something else. I don't know, but you can do something other than that. And for the most part, you can see this has real world practical applications. Show it to a possible employer and get hired. So with this, what we're going to be making is something I call a medical card. This is going to be based on a previous application I made in the past, I think about like a year ago. It was an application that was called Disability Card. Basically, that app, the entire thing is it showed the person's name, the person's disability, the major disabilities, the advocate's name for the person, the advocate's number, and so on. So what happens worldwide is cops are not really trained to deal with people with mental and physical disabilities. So what happens is you have a cop pull over someone with mental disabilities, able to drive, functioning purely fine, but in the social, not so much, which happens a lot. And the fact of the matter is the cop thinks the person's drunk or just being rude and whatever. And next thing, the person with disabilities, because they have disabilities and the cop thinks they're drunk or whatever, they're pinned to the ground, and they have the cop try and put handcuffs on them. And that literally does happen. Many police stations do get sued by that. And the reason why I made that past application was to help out cops and help out people with disabilities. And that way the cop looks at it and says, okay, this person says they're not on drugs, or say that they're not on anything, they've got mental disability. We can still give them a test, but we can call the advocate's number, get more information on it, or get a specialist, which usually most police stations are starting to try to get some specialists. And that way they come out there, and that way the specialist can help the cop during the writing the ticket or doing whatever that's needed to be done. And that, I got plenty of things for that. Believe it or not, worldwide, Vietnam, Indonesia, Pakistan even, believe it or not, Russia, England, a few other places, I've gotten things for that because it's helped out a lot of people. Not getting out of tickets, but to keep cop from shoving them to the ground, because the cop doesn't know they're trained for drunks and drug addicts, not disabilities. So with this, what we have is a application that does something similar, but once if you had a medical defect and you can't talk, well, you can show the application and go from there. It's a good training tool for you. So with this, what we're going to be doing in this one, again, is making a splash screen. So if you've seen my previous videos, then please watch this. If you hadn't, then a card will be somewhere towards the top. Now, if you know how to make a splash screen but still want to keep along with this, go ahead, and somewhere towards the top will be a card. And if that's not there, then that means the video is not out yet. Keep in mind, these videos come out once or twice a week. So with this, a splash screen, what a splash screen really does at the end of the day is it shows something up for a few seconds and then it goes on to something else. What a lot of developers use it for is like in games where it says this app is great for headphones, or this app requires internet service. And it's a pretty simple way to tell someone something really fast, and also do accreditations, logos, and stuff like that really fast each and every time the app cranks up for the first time. given that it was turned off. So I just realized that after recording this, I didn't actually show it in practice, the splash screen. So I figured I might as well just show it now. But anyways, when you first crank it up, a splash screen will show up like that. A few seconds will go by and it'll go to the next activity. Because we didn't work on anything past that, obviously it's not going to show anything. But like again, if you click on that, it shows it for real quick. On the next video, I want to actually show you taking that off, because in this type of application you wouldn't have that on there because it's an emergency application. But anyways, let's jump on in. What you need to do is make your project, and then I just have mine on API level 14, I think. And basically what we're going to do here is make a splash layout and also a splash class. From there, let's go to the splash layout. I have my stuff already set up, but basically on yours, go to the text and go down and type in Android background and paste in your image that you want to use into the drawable. So if you're in a school, use the school's logo, modify it a little bit so it looks good, but basically you want to put it into the drawable. Then from here, you just do add drawable, and then whatever you name it. It doesn't have to be Splash, it can be something else. I prefer to use Splash because usually you don't name pictures that, so it's easy. But if you actually really do have an image called Splash, it doesn't need to be called something else. So from here, that's really all this one does. We don't want the action bar to show. In fact, we don't want the action bar to show at all on this application. So what we need to do is go down to Styles under the Value, and then go to the App Theme, and at the end put in No Action Bar. Simple as that, and that takes out the action bar. Now when you go back, you shouldn't see his action bar. If you do, then you might have multiple value folders. So go and take a look at the number right here. So mine is 23, and you might see like a value 23 or something like that, and just go in there and see the styles folder and change the same part. It's easy as that. Now with that, we need to go into the Splash folder. So or Splash class. So the Splash class, what we're going to do is simply going down to code. We're telling it to load the layout, and the layout's already said that, hey, this needs to be the background. Make a timer and have it sleep for how many seconds. When the counter for the timer gets to 0, do the following, which is start the next class, so the main thing, and then kill off the Splash altogether. And that way it doesn't take memory. So I want to iterate something right here. I want to make it very crystal clear. Basically, if you don't use GitHub, and if you don't have a log of your stuff readily available, or even to some degree where you have to go online and log in and download something, if you don't at least have something like that, you're going to run into problems, because this code, believe it or not, besides minor modifications, the code itself came from an application I made a year ago. It was for a mapping application that had a Splash class on, because it required internet access in order to work. Therefore, it was smart to have a Splash class. So why not just copy and paste work already done? Why this is important is, one thing a lot of employers will tell you is simply, if you don't keep a log or grab things from a log, or if you don't search on the internet code, Like, you may know how to do good portions of things, but let's put it this way: if it takes you 10-15 minutes to write out code, or if it takes you an hour, half an hour to write out code, and you could have just copied and pasted it like that, then you're not useful to a company. And you're really wasting your own time. Even if you're making your own stuff, you're wasting your own time at that point. So what you need to do is get in a habit of logging your code and be able to be comfortable going Google on Bing or Yahoo or whatever your thing is, and simply look up the codes, because you can simply copy and paste the stuff. Because even though if you know these stuff to the key, if it's very, very, very long as far as getting code to work, you might be able to just copy and paste it. Now, with that being said, if it's something simple as this, you might be able to just type it out as quick if you don't have a log. So that's something to say too. If you don't have a log, don't worry. Right now, make one. But my GitHub, most of my applications are public, so feel free to go to that. The link will be down in the description, so check that out, and please feel free to use any of the code there, and feel free to add on to applications. So with this, now that we've done that, we need to tell the application to open up the splash versus the main activity. Now, to do this, what we need to do is basically do the intent filter. We need to put the activity and tell to go to splash, and then do the intent filter. Now, keep in mind, I still have the activity for that. And you might be wondering, what is this, the portrait thing, the screen rotation? Basically, that says if you have your phone in any position, it will try to stay portrait all the time. Simple as that. I'll get more into this into a later video, because it gets pretty important to note that for some things, like for example games, counter applications, things. But anyways, as far as that goes, that's pretty much it. If you want to use this, feel free to do so, modify, do whatever. But if you got any questions, feel free to leave that down there in the comment section, and I'll try to answer as quickly as possible. Also, while you're down there, leave a like, subscribe, share, and I'll see you in the next video, and hope you have a great day.